And action.
Good evening or good morning, depending on which side of the globe you're on, and welcome to the live stream Behind Faces. My name is Oswald Hunter. I'm the writer, director, and creator of Faces, and with me is.
Victor Nikamo, and I am the director of photography for Faces, which I'm very excited for.
So today we are planning to just give you a little bit of an insight on Faces, the project as a whole. How we came up with the idea to how we're executing it and everything in between. During the live stream, you can ask us some questions. I have some questions prepared that will show up at the end of the live stream, which we are more than willing and really excited to answer for you as well. So let me start off by saying, Victor, thank you for your time tonight, and thank you so much for helping me bringing Faces to life.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about why you wanted to help me to bring it alive?
Oof. Why I wanted to bring this story to life. Well, I think there's multiple reasons for why I want to help you with this project and why I want to be part of this. First and foremost is because I've seen you work before and we done For Better or Worse, which was a huge success. We found out like a year later, but it was. And I think we really have, when we're working, we really understand each other's visions. I mean, you have a vision, but I know how to translate that into the technological terms on how we are going to put that on camera.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think that teamwork really works well in the projects we do. And that's why I'm so excited to do this, which is much larger scale, but it's going to be even better than everything that has come before.
Yeah, exactly. So, for those of you who just joined us and are not quite familiar with our previous work, Victor and I actually produced a short film For Better or Worse before. This was also a concept written by me, directed by me, but Victor helped me bring it to life. That movie actually won some international film festivals. Um, which went beyond expectation, truth be told.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just invited and we didn't think anything of it. But yeah, that was great. Victor and I actually got to know each other through acting school. I remember doing a beautiful play together with Victor called Red on
Oh,
stage. And we actually built up the chemistry throughout doing that play, didn't we? Practicing
yeah,
together, getting to know each other.
definitely.
Um, is there anything specific in that whole journey in acting school that got you like, okay, this is going to be fun, this is going to be great, or this is going to be absolutely awkward?
Awkward, yeah. That's always there, but I mean, I ignore it. Um, well, yeah, you're right. What that acting class brought me was a lot, and it also brought me like the feeling of, okay, I may not want to be the actor of a movie. I may have more interest in behind the camera. And I talked about this on Paul Kerstar's podcast,
Yeah,
that I after a role in I think it was a film school production for something.
yeah.
I just had the urge to always. I wanted to help them, and now when I do my own projects, I realize how annoying it is for an actor to try to help with the camera team.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
that's, and I guess, for us, when we got to work together, both acting, we already quite soon figured out that you felt more comfortable setting up the technic department,
yeah,
fixing the sound, fixing the lighting, fixing the cameras, while I felt at home on stage. But I do feel that, especially now we're entering in this whole new project with Faces, that your acting background and my acting background brought us together in understanding what we want to achieve when making a movie. And especially now with faces, now that we're stepping up, everything becomes more serious. There's money involved, there's other people involved, there's other disciplines involved. We're going to have a sound technician, we're going to have somebody working with the lights. But having that core understanding, having been in that position, makes it easier now to understand what is expected of both you and me. So let me get into it. Maybe it's the wrong bridge, but on why I wrote Faces. Then it's a transition from For Better or Worse, where I was really focused on the acting part. I wanted to have material for myself, which I can show up for agents and whatnot. And this transitioned into finding myself very comfortable in writing scripts as well. And I found that through writing, I could express a lot of myself and a lot of my life experiences through it. So I think the major reason why I wrote Faces is to get the experiences I had working as a healthcare worker on paper and share my story with others. Not necessarily to get the recognition for myself, but to help other people achieve recognition for the line of work they are in, or for the illness they are suffering from, or um, you know the position their family is placed in through sickness. So what I wanted to achieve with Faces is every independent part of society needs to have their place in the movie. Um, when I talk to actors, or when we talked about it, I told you there's not just one specific main character. There are five main characters, and each of them present a part of society themselves.
Yeah, because I thought about that. First time I read the script, I thought, which of these are the main character? And I kind of, in the end, just like, maybe there doesn't have to be one. Maybe, I mean, we focus a lot on both Redwood and on Victor Tan. Um, I'm Victor too, so like I am. Well, we focus a lot of them, so they are kind of main character in that sense. But what is interesting in how you have written it is that every single character has their own story.
Yeah.
And not just like a normal background description on who they are. They have a real actual story that develops throughout the film. We have relationships building, we have relationships falling, and we have so many different stories in one. And the way you have composed it, it's, I mean, incredible.
Well, thank you. It's the whole writing process took me, I think, around 9, maybe 10 months, um, and that is a full time dedication to the script. I know that there's artists working on a script for years on end because they write a sequence, then they take a break, then they write again, then they take a break, and over a period of 2 3 years they might develop a whole script. um, I already had the idea of Faces quite a long time in my head. It already began developing in my imagination when we shot For Better or Worse. um, so once I had the story complete in my head of what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it, then it just became the technical aspect of, okay, how do I make sure that all those characters have their individual space and progress throughout the movie? uh, the challenge of having one main character develop but the rest standing still, or I need to make sure that everybody grows and develops throughout a movie. There's no person in real life that is the same all the time. All the small events in life makes you change. It makes you change how you interact, how you talk, maybe how you walk, or how you treat people. Everything has an influence. And bringing that from imagination onto paper took the 9 months. But now that we're here and we've written that story, I mean, you were the first one I sent the full script to. When you read it from a perspective as director of photography, because I asked you to be that, when you read the script, did you find anything specific that was more challenging, or was it a nice challenge that I've given you? How do you perceive the script from a technical point of view?
Um, Before I move on to the question, I just wanted to check. Can you just double check that the Instagram live stream works? Because I can't figure out how to get into it.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
just it's maybe a technical difficulty, but
On my end, it says it's streaming. So
okay. Then we'll move on because I can't get in on it to my phone. But
let me double check what's going on. Thank you so much.
yes,
Yeah, I am Oswald Hunter, streaming on Instagram.
okay. Then we move from there. Yeah.
For
So
anybody that is missing it or watching it on Facebook, we are recording everything. If there's an issue with Instagram, you will be able to see the live stream later on. We will share the links on all our social media platforms. It's going to be posted on YouTube. It's going to be posted on TikTok. You're going to see snippets of it throughout the next month or so, depending on the length. So don't worry, everybody's going to be able to see it.
exactly. Yeah. So what did I think as from the perspective of DOP
Yeah, exactly.
when I read the script? I actually didn't think of it as much of a challenge, more or less. I more thought of it as it has a lot of different ways to be told. I mean, we talked a lot about how we want a movie to feel. And that's when we ended on, well, we want a lot of handheld and long takes for uh, for bringing the emotion that you are present, that you are there, someone
Yeah,
watching, rather than fast cuts and I mean, we don't
yeah.
have use a lot of stable shot. We a lot of still shots. We
No,
use
exactly.
them, but we use a lot more handheld. We're going to use a lot more handheld. So what I thought as the DOP, as in everything I read and watch, I always think of the how are we going to pull this off. Uh, so I mean, when you read, I think you see a picture. You see, okay, this is how it's going to look.
Yeah,
When I read, I see this is how it's going to look, but this is how it's going to look behind the scenes too.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so, and I mean, I'm not going to reveal so much about the script because we're not going to do that yet. But there's a few shots that, I mean, we had to talk a lot about, and to figure out how we're going to pull it off.
yeah,
But what I like most, which both makes it easier, but also I believe makes it a whole lot more present, is the way that we don't use so many visual effects and CGI. I mean,
right.
this movie is raw almost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's raw emotions. You see the story, even if it ends, however it ends. Because as you said, a movie doesn't always have to end in a good or bad way. You can end it on a good note, but something's maybe missing, or at least something has been learned. Some sort of evolution has happened. And I think you do that really well when you write, both in For Better or Worse and in Faces. You always know what to reveal and what to keep secret, so the audience like keeps guessing and has to make something up of their own. Like
yeah,
there are answers, but they're not as prominent. Um, well, so as a DOP, when I read this script, I really liked it. I thought we could create something visually amazing with this.
yeah.
Um,
Talking about visuals, we've been I don't know how many hours, but we've been talking for hours on end throughout the whole process, up to making the marketing videos. Even that took countless evenings of discussions and dialogues
And
and
they're not
creating sort
done.
of. Well, at least the shots are done. You just have to edit them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we talked a lot about visuals. Is My vision has always been, I love movies from the 80s. I was born in 84. You weren't even thought of. So there's a lot you have missed of that period. Um, but there is a lot of aesthetics in the 80s. When you look at hospitals, when you look at psychiatric wards and whatnot, that have such a contradictory feel. And Faces is something very psychological. Um, the aesthetics had both this embracing warm feel, from pastel walls to warm woodworks along the walls. The lighting was different back then. We had the old glow lights, which gave off this yellow light. Now when you walk into a hospital, you feel like walking through an x-ray, just
Yeah.
going through the revolving door. It's that white. So my goal is to make this movie once again as how they did it in the 80s, and really also make the setting as it was in the 80s in a hospital setting. The clothing, the makeup, the set design, everything is in the 80s. How do you approach that from your perspective? And is there anything that has been extremely challenging that I've given you?
Um, yeah, no, I would not say that you have given me anything extremely challenging. But always when you make something like this that has parts from the past that kind of doesn't exist as easy anymore, uh, it's always it's always harder. It's a challenge. Um, but I think at least at the marketing shoot, we figured it out quite well, with the help of you, like directing where stuff should be.
Yeah,
And I think the location made a lot of the work too by having old furniture and stuff.
yeah,
So yeah, it's always a challenge going back in time. Uh, but as you said before when we talked, even though the setting of the film is supposed to be in the 1980s, we're still going to film it in a more modern way
right,
using modern technology and
right.
lights and so it's only the feeling of the past, whilst the technology behind it is going to be modern. I mean, we're just not gonna use a
Yeah.
old film camera to film this.
No, exactly. No, everything is going to be shot with an anamorphic lens. I wouldn't say it's the standard. It's just the vision I have for this movie. It brings that kind of modern feel to the scenes that I like, while wrapping up the whole set in the old style. Do you think, because we're shooting everything with modern equipment and a modern setting, that people will tend to pay more attention to the small details we might have missed while building the set or clothing?
Ooh, um, I think my mom will. She always pays attention to that.
Yeah,
I too, in some way, but I believe that the story in itself is at a level that you're not really gonna pay attention to details in the background. You're going to notice it, and how we design it is going to change how you feel about it. But if you see something like, oh, that was invented in 1990, not 1980, I think that wouldn't be such, because the story is so good and the story is so emerging, and the actors we're going to pick, um, will probably at that level too, making.
yeah. Well, I mean, the visual aspect is important, but as you say, or I'll rephrase it in a different way, the acting should be that good that nobody
Yeah,
pays attention to the mishap.
Exactly.
And,
Always.
so if people start to pay attention that a pen was only produced in 2015, or, they didn't have this type of typewriter back then, yeah, we didn't do our casting properly. Um,
But we're going to do the scenography as good as we can. We're going to
yeah.
make it amazingly good because I know you have in contact with a props master
Yeah.
that will help us with recreating that. So I have no doubt in us creating a set that is going to be uh, really visual, stunning, and really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest, the guy gets paid enough to make no mistakes. So, yeah. And I think, for me, because the project is so personal, I almost want to say it feels like a baby, but that's exaggerating. But it's so personal. It's like I don't make movies for the audience, and it sounds really rude, but I make movies for myself. Because if I make them for myself, I know I'm going to put everything in it that I want to put in it and try to achieve the best possible because I want to be able to enjoy it. And without bashing any specific other film, but we've seen too much in the film industry where movies are created for the audience, just a quick flash bang and to get the money in. But for me, the trend has shown that there's not much attention paid anymore to storytelling. There's not much attention paid anymore to engage with the audience or to captivate them with a certain emotion or with a certain shot. It is, we want to give them something so they don't have to think about and they walk away happy without any sense of fulfillment or development, and let's go and see the next movie. While I want to watch a movie and actually want to be able to watch it again because I feel like I missed something in the message. I want to see it again because, wow, now I want to pay attention to that character instead of the other one. You know,
Yeah.
so visually as well. When it comes to the makeup artistry, I'm in contact with makeup artists that specialize in making it correct, period, correct, but also very natural. It's not going to be flashy, it's not going to be big. When I'm working with a department that designs clothing, talking to them, the accuracy in having the vision correct, the type of shoes, the type of jacket, the type of shirt they're wearing, including the set designer, but it all needs to come together. All these people need to understand their spot in the production, and more importantly understand my vision. And that gives me a sense of, I wouldn't say it's giving me anxiety, but it makes me extremely aware of what's going on, because I want it to be correct so desperately.
Yeah.
uh, and moving on a little bit from then the collaboration and the visual aspect, this is where we are putting together a team where you and we have that strong connection. I tell you the vision, you ask me questions about it, or you give me ideas, and we collaborate. But now the production becomes so much bigger, which means that in certain areas, I also need to be able to let go. I explain my I have to believe that they understand my vision, otherwise they will ask questions. And then I need to step back to make sure that I can focus on the production. I need to direct.
Yeah.
I know you're very enthusiastic and you're capable of an incredible amount of disciplines in the movie industry. You want to be a director of photography, but you help me build sets. You thought about lighting design, you thought about sound. How easy do you think it will be for you to step back into the role of just, because it's not just, but just being a director of photography and letting it rest on other disciplines, what that they do what they have to do?
Ooh. Um, Well, that's something we will see, but I think it will be hard. I can say that, because that's kind of, because leaving something up to someone else that you are very comfortable and have been doing a lot is hard. Um, but I think it will work because I think that when the other hats that gets like given to others,
Yeah,
I will get much more time focusing on my single job, um, and in that also doing it a lot better.
right, right.
Instead of when we did the marketing shoots, when I was one man band because you were in Italy, and my girlfriend helped with filming behind the scenes. I was the only one keeping track of the schedules, the shot list, doing all the lighting, controlling so all the mics are on and the actors have something to eat, and and also picking up the camera. Um,
Yeah,
so I think in the short film shoot, then, when I only have my job as director of photography, it will be much easier to focus and give all my attention to make this the best film I've ever made.
yeah,
Um, so, in a way, it's going to make my life easier and it's going to create a much greater result,
yeah.
but it's going to be something I have to like, okay, Victor, focus now. This is your job. Someone else takes care of that. Don't worry. It
Yeah,
will go to plan.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Because when I think about the marketing shoot, we had an additional challenge because I couldn't direct physically on the spot because, well, honestly, we had 2,500 kilometers in between us. For the American viewers, I think that is, I don't know, about 1,000 football fields or something, but a long distance in between.
now we're gonna sound stupid.
I have no
Uh,
idea. I am very,
Search it up.
I have no idea how the lengths work in America. I know 1.6 kilometers is a mile. So, but yeah, we had a lot of distance in between us. We did make it work through having WhatsApp calls on the regular and having the additional actor that was present hold the camera so I can see what was
Yeah.
going on and whatnot. But even still, we made it work. I noticed your dedication, I should say, to the marketing to also make sure, okay, Oswald is not capable to be here. Let me give some pointers because he's given me his vision and whatnot. Did you feel in that moment you wish you had more backup to do the marketing shoot?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy who complains if things get hard, because then we wouldn't have anything in the end of the
No.
shoot. So it's just suck it up and do it.
Yeah.
But of course, more help and more hands would have been worth so much. And I'm still happy because I had an extra hand in the on the first shoot day for two of the five scenes we shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that helped a lot. Just that bit felt so much easier, especially because we had like five actors on set, and it was me and him. So I could just say, okay, you go do that, you go do that, and we were three people in the crew, all helping each other.
Right.
That made a huge difference. So I can only imagine how it will be when we have much larger team and everybody's a professional, everybody has done it before.
Yeah.
So I think it will create a much greater result.
Yeah. Well, that's actually, that's a nice bridge also into the collaboration part. One of the things, and I've been on several podcasts, and one of the things I've tried to promote throughout all of them is when making movies, whether you're an actor, a director of photography, a director, it doesn't matter. it is such a collaborative art. I mean, there's plenty of cases where you see movies fail because one of the elements was not collaborating or didn't understand the vision or maybe didn't have the passion for that project as much. You know, me as an actor, because that is my primary job, every part I do, I need to have that mindset of I want to do this. And even though it's a part that when I get the script in the first time, I might look at it and go like, well, okay, I still force myself to get excited about it. I will study it. I will, analyze it. We do what actors have to do, and I'll find the elements in it that gives me excitement. But on a larger scale, when you're making a production, you really need to find the other people that have the same drive to make a movie. And maybe they are not doing it specifically for the script, but for the design of it. Maybe they're not doing it for the design, but because they get to work with some certain people, but finding the element in the team, in the collaboration, or in the project as a whole, to be passionate about is very important. And I have to give a shout out to the actors we had for the marketing shoot, because that actually showed how smooth it can go if you have dedicated actors, if you have dedicated people behind the scenes helping you. We shot a lot of scenes, intricate scenes, on the first day alone.
Yeah.
And there's not many productions that pull that off because there's something missing or hasn't been communicated beforehand or hasn't been planned properly. And I think one of the successes for us is that we talk so much, that we're on the phone on a regular basis talking about the project, planning it, working it out into details until we are actually so tired and forgotten to eat and forgotten to drink that we go like, there's absolutely nothing we could have forgotten right now. And then we wake up the next morning and we text each other or we call each other and go like, hey, listen, how about this? And we work on it.
Yeah.
And with the marketing shoots, that paid off. We got together a great team. We communicated everything clearly. So where are we at right now? We have almost 6 scenes done.
Yeah.
We are waiting for, what is it, like 3 more for you to edit right now, right?
I think I'm halfway done with scene 4, and then there's 5 and 6.
Right. Well, you've got an extremely busy life. I mean, at your age, you're still in school, you're doing all other projects, you're running your own company. I am doing everything I can on my end behind the scenes. So where we are at right now is we're almost going to release those 6 fantastic marketing scenes, which hopefully will also promote us well enough to get the well-needed sponsors, because everything comes at a cost and a price. And we've talked about set design, we've talked about sound, we've talked about lighting, makeup, clothing. Of course, it needs to be shot somewhere. So we talked about locations, which is gonna, those people want a decent amount of money as well. And I like to talk. I talk a lot. I'm not sure if I'm a good talker, but I can't get everybody go down to basically handing it for free. So those promotion videos are coming up. And the next stage is just finalizing the deals, finalizing the contracts, agreements with different locations, with additional crew. And we're soon going to start casting as well to, promote the movie, that we have a solid cast. One very exciting thing is that I'm actually working together now with a composer, which is specialized in writing scores and soundtracks for movies. We actually had the final email contact, I think yesterday, where we both agreed on the contract, which means that as soon as those clips are done, they're gonna have an original soundtrack to it. The goal is to have, not just for the marketing, but for the short film as well, a beautiful soundtrack written that matches the visual, that matches the storyline.
Yeah.
And of course, the ultimate goal, I mean, we've talked about it, we keep dreaming about it, and we keep fighting for it every day, is that that short film is going to be of such a quality that it's going to be used as a proof of concept to actually make the full feature length.
Yeah.
Now, we have posted the last couple of days on Instagram and Facebook that people are welcome with their questions. So I think, Victor, you and I will go through
Yeah.
them. I only looked at them, I think, about 30 seconds while writing them down. They're going to pop up on the screen and we'll try to answer them as good as possible.
Perfect. Exciting.
Yeah, the first question that pops up is immediately for me. I'm so sorry. You'll get your turn, Victor.
Oh.
Yeah. Oswald, when did you start thinking about faces? I kind of mentioned that before already. Victor and I created a movie called For Better or Worse, which was finalized in April 2024.
Yep.
We started shooting it way before that. Was it
February.
Was it February?
Yep.
Yeah, we started shooting that in February, and from the moment I started directing and have written my first screenplay, the thoughts of a new movie already came to mind. So Faces has been a project since February 2024, rising in my thoughts, thinking of scenes, putting the story together. What do I want to tell? Which elements do I want to portray? What's the message I want to convey? Um, and then about, yeah, I would say 10 months ago, 11 months ago, I started writing it and completed it at the beginning of this year. When was it?
Yeah. And that's the thing with Oswald. He just like called me up and said, "Do you want to be like a director of photography for my film?" Oh, do you have an idea? No, yeah, I have a feature script. I have a short film script. I have all the character description. I mean, he he like 1 week later he sent me home a whole copy. I had it
Yeah,
himself.
it's
Yeah, that send me that. And I'm like, okay, let's
yeah.
go.
So yeah, the whole process for me from A to Z is coming up with the idea to writing it in 9 months. And then most of the writing, it's kind of a fun fact about me. My best work is done at night. So as soon as my wife goes to sleep, I kiss her goodnight. I sit myself behind the computer, and about the time when she wakes up to get to work, I finish writing and take a few hours nap before I wake up and do the rest of the emails and whatnot.
It's something about that. Yeah, I do the same thing with editing.
Yeah,
I don't think about
it's
working at night.
yeah. Next question,
Yeah.
Victor.
Victor, are you emotionally involved in this film? Do you feel the story, or is it just looking through the lens and seeing the technical aspects of the movie? Ooh, tough question. Um, I would say it's a combination of both. Because I don't have the same emotional attachment as Oswald has because he has written it, and but I think after I don't know how long I've known about this now, but yeah, it's January, right?
Yeah, yeah, at the
Almost half,
beginning.
a bit more than half a year.
Yeah,
Um, I've gotten more and more attached to the script as well because in the beginning, yeah, it was only I was only looking at the technical side of things, but especially after or during the marketing shoots, that changed, and I feel closer to the script, not in a relatable way, but in a way that I can that I feel with the characters and with the story. Uh, because doing that marketing shoot, really, we could really see the characters come to life with our
yeah,
amazing cast. I mean, it was incredible to see. Um, yeah, I would say it's a combination of both, and it has evolved over time that I've dig deeper into this project, and now setting editing. the first like 6 minutes of footage that are
Yeah,
faces.
yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Next question. How did you go about designing the visual style of the film? Well, I guess we are going to answer that shortly, both of us. I have this idea in my head. I am once again, huge fan of movies made in the 80s. And then during the research of the illness, which is going to be portrayed in Faces, which is called visual agnosia, I honestly hope that nobody has heard of it because that makes the movie more interesting. But please do Google it. Visual agnosia, in what kind of setting they are treated, how they are helped, and whatnot. I really wanted to design a place. I really wanted to design a place where also the audience would feel at home, not as clinical, not as scary, not as unfamiliar, but I wanted a set. I wanted a wall design, clothing design, where it's also for the audience capable to mentally step into that situation. Yeah, and then I hand it over to Victor because then it is the difficulty of how does that translate onto the camera.
Yeah. Um, yeah, how does it? I think the complete visual style isn't fully created in, um, because we haven't created a mood board yet. And I think the finalizing of that is going to be created together before shooting with me, Oswald, and the gaffer.
Yeah,
Um, but if I take from the marketing shoot and from what I've read in the scripts, I see the visual style of the film to be, as we talked about earlier, an old feeling, old vibe,
yeah,
but modern, not modern filming technology.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so
And
yeah,
then because we're doing everything handheld, we're really doing our best to place the viewer on set with the actors. We are really aiming to have that feeling that you are a part of the situation. You
yeah,
know, there's most movies where you see the excitement, but you're really there's no connection, there's no relatability, and we are really aiming to place you there with them, feeling what they're feeling, seeing what they're seeing, experiencing everything from their point of view. So
yeah.
awesome.
Um, yeah, I mean that's what I think, but also that comes with a challenge when we're doing handheld to, in a way, make all the camera movements have have a reason for
Yeah,
happening,
yeah,
because that's the hardest thing with handle. I mean, you can move the camera around, you can just, like, if you have a dialogue and just start on that, go back
yeah,
and forth, but it's kind of boring that way. So we need, and we are going to
yeah,
find a way to have a reason for all the movements that are going to happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's move on. How did the collaboration between the two of you start and what makes it work so well? Well, this was, I'm going to take this one, Victor. It's, we already talked about it largely. We started off on set together, both taking acting lessons. We played the theater play Red, as I can remember,
Yeah.
in which I played Rothko, the old kind of weird artist, painter, dressed up weird, paint all over my place, and you're going to be this tiny, innocent, you know, intern. Yeah, you're not that tiny anymore. You've grown a lot since the first time we've met, but yeah, that happens. And we just hit it off. The chemistry was immediately there, working together on the script, finding the chemistry, working actually on getting that chemistry on set together, making that theater play come to life. There's a huge age gap in between us. I'm 41 right now. Victor is 17.
You
And
have a
that,
wide range of culture.
yeah, also, I'm born and raised Dutch. Victor is as Swedish as can be, uh, which is a positive thing. But yeah, so the two of our characters couldn't be more diverse when it comes from a cultural perspective. But what really brought us together is the same passion we carry and the same dedication, I should say, to making movies. For me, making movies, acting, everything that has to do with the industry, that is my life. And besides the fact that Victor still has to go to school, there is still that same dedication for every free hour he has to making movies, learning how to be better, developing his skills, buying new equipment and whatnot. So we started off on stage as actors, and what makes it work so well right now is the fact that I'm the one with the script, with the vision, and he has the incredible talent and drive to make it work.
Yeah.
Let's move on. What is Faces really about besides what I can read in the synopsis?
Oof.
Oh
Oof.
boy, people are asking for
Hmm.
spoilers. Well,
Yeah. I'm gonna
um,
let you take that because I don't know how much you want to reveal.
well, it's about time that the audience gets to know a little bit more about the movie, and why it then also might be interesting to help us actually make it come to life. This story is about a musician that is suffering from a disease called visual agnosia. And this disease is technically very hard to explain, but you have to imagine this. You are looking at a person, you can visually see them, there's nothing wrong with your eyes, but your brain registers it as maybe a door or maybe a coat hanger. You look at a door and your brain actually might translate it into a human being or an animal or a different object. So visual agnosia is a disease that is brain driven, nothing to do with the eyes, but makes the translation from the retina to the brain a little bit messed up. The musical part in it, the main character being Victor. As we said, there's multiple main characters, but in this case, Victor, suffering from visual agnosia, is a professional musician. Music played a huge part in my life, and I wanted to bring that back into the movie as well. So we see the character in the early days performing as he did, suffering from visual agnosia, and then throughout the beginning of the disease to where we find the pillars of life for him again. Without spoiling too much,
Yeah.
we're gonna follow him. The other characters we are following are Nurse Morgan, Dr. Edward Redwood, Dr. Brian Keller, and the wife of the main character, Victor. The main character is Sarah Tam. And each individual character has their part to play. Dr. Edward Redwood is going to be the physician that is going to be focused on Victor. Then we have Emily Morgan, which is going to be focused on the whole project with Dr. Edward Redwood. We have Brian Keller, who is the, how do you call that in English? He's the head of the hospital. He's the one that sits on the money, that has to make decisions for the therapy and whatnot. And Sarah Tan, the wife of Victor, of course, she plays a very prominent part in the movie. Not just because she is sad of the whole situation, but the point of all of those people together is human interaction. What do they give each other throughout the movie? How do we see their individual relationships develop, their relationships as a whole develop, and how do we then see each and every character develop as an individual? Music is a therapy part. I have used music as a therapy for many years ago, and I think you can say a lot with music. Where words are not able to describe the sensation, I know for a fact that music will be able to do that. So very cryptical. I'm not going to spoil too much. I guess you just have to go and watch the movie.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay.
What has been the biggest creative challenge so far, and how did you handle it?
Ooh, that's yeah.
Let's keep
Uh,
that short and simple. For my part, the biggest creative challenge has been to make sure that every character has their own story, their own place in the movie. My biggest creative challenge was not to put too much focus on just Victor and Edward. I wanted everybody to have their place. And how did I handle it? Staying up all night while my wife is asleep and rewriting, rewriting,
yeah.
rewriting until I got it right.
Oh, yeah. Um, my biggest creative challenge. Ooh. Um, there's a lot. But I think the first that we came up on was creating the shot list for the short film,
Mhm.
because that's actually already done. How many that now is, I can't remember. At least 100, 150. It's a lot of shots.
Yeah, exactly.
um, so that was the first challenge. It wasn't as hard, but it was a challenge to for us to work together and come up with how we want it to look, and not have too many shots, rather have more shots that tell the story in a better way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, and of course the marketing shoot. I mean, the creative part of filming in itself for me isn't super hard, but adding on all the other elements I have to focus on,
Yeah.
then it became somewhat more of a challenge. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say that.
Awesome. We've got about 5 minutes left, so we're gonna go through the last four questions a little bit quicker so we can round it up nicely as well.
Let's see.
What was the most emotional moment for you during the shoots? I saw that you filmed some marketing scenes. As a whole, the fact that it comes to life is the most emotional for me. There is so much I want to say with the movie. There's so much I want to do with the movie. But just the fact that we actually started creating something visually tangible, that's the most emotional part for me. And the dedication that the actors and the voice actor, not to forget, we had an amazing voice actress, but all of them together, that they put so much effort into it.
Um, I would say during filming, there's a lot of emotion parts, but seeing the actors work together and really knowing the script and knowing the story, it was amazing. But I think the most emotional moment yet has been when we recorded the voiceovers, and I sat with my headset listening to our voiceover artist and just visualizing the scenes in front of me.
Yeah,
That was incredible.
nice. The script has already won international awards, so people are looking at my Instagram, which is really nice. What do you think people are responding to? I'll take this one. It's very easy. It has to be technically okay. They are looking at the layout. They're looking at how it's placed. They're looking at the transitions. They're looking at the written language. They're looking at the dialogues. I think it's about maybe 30 or 40%, but I'm not running a film festival, so I can't say that for sure. But I think only 30, 40% is about the actual storyline. I think a lot of it comes down to how you present it. Is it technically okay? Because text is only one thing, it can be totally differently interpreted by somebody who reads it than when we are making it visually. So what are they responding to? Well, I hope they're responding to a good story, but I think it's more the technical side of it. What kind of impact are you hoping the film will have once it's released?
Ooh,
I want people to walk away from that movie with a profound sense of their surroundings, who you interact with, and why you interact with them, and why they interact with you. Everybody has their place in this society, and we are too quick nowadays to dismiss somebody. We are too quick to ignore somebody, too quick to not listen to the question. We hear them, but we're not listening. So, with this movie, besides that people will be filled with a positive emotion, I want them to walk away with profound thoughts about their surroundings.
that's good. Yeah.
What's next after the marketing scenes?
Ooh.
Raising all the money we can get
Woo.
so we can start producing it. Yeah, it's a two-way street, both joke and serious. But what's next at the marketing scenes? On my part, I am writing emails that I can't see my email anymore. I'm tired of it, but I keep on going. It's writing emails, producers, it's writing emails to angel investors, it's writing emails with composers, sound technicians, gaffers, everything, keeping in touch, finding sponsors and whatnot. Victor and I will be working together continuously throughout that process. Every update that we make is being communicated. Victor is working really hard to getting those last scenes done. Victor is amazing on social media. I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing. So it might look good, it might look awful. I apologize. I do my best. I was born too early. I have no idea, but Victor is the magic hands behind social media platforms. So we're going to keep on doing that, posting this as well. You're going to see snippets of it on Instagram, Facebook. The whole stream will be posted on YouTube, of course, as well. And we're going to keep on fighting for basically getting the funds there, making sure that we can produce it as good as possible. As of now, with all the budgets, and we're talking crew, we're talking cast, we're talking the sets, we're talking clothing, makeup, locations, and whatnot, we are looking at around 32 to 35,000 euros. So making a short film doesn't come for free, especially when you want to put quality in it. And honestly, I am not going to cut corners anywhere on it. So we're going to keep on going until we have that budget to provide me, Victor, but especially the audience with the highest quality short film we can produce. No cutting corners, which means it can take half a year, it can take a year. Maybe we can do it tomorrow. That's up to you guys if you're willing to help us. If there's anything you want to do for us, you can check that out on GoFundMe/F/Faces short film. If there's more you want to read about the project, you can go on to www.oswaldhunter.com/faces, where you will find a so-called pitch deck. On that site, you will find the pitch deck, social media updates. You will find the awards we're winning. You will also find a link directly there to GoFundMe. For now, everybody that has logged in, sent us questions. Thank you so much for joining us. Victor, it's always an absolute pleasure talking to you. People, keep an eye out for Faces movie. We are visual on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. We are always open for questions. You can find Victor on
Victor Nikamo Films on Instagram, or Victor Nikamo on any other Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't think I have a TikTok actually. I have Faces movie on TikTok.
Awesome. You can find me on I am Oswald Hunter on every platform imaginable. Oswald Hunter, of course, just on LinkedIn. Please connect, reach out, send us more questions if you want to. If this has been enjoyable, we will go out with another live stream to go a little bit more on depth and an update on where we are at right now with the movie. Thank you so much for joining. Love to see you again, and welcome to Faces, the movie.
Welcome.